version, his discussions with TNA after he left WWE. Let's go to this. We'll stop it along the way. Please jump in with any comments you have. But let's go to this. Chris Van Vliet with Paul Heyman.
Well, at what point did TNA reach out? Was this ever a possibility? I didn't ask that.
2010.
Yeah? Were you ever close to working with TNA?
Depends on the perspective of the person that you're asking. You're asking me, was I ever close?
Have a good trip.
I certainly told him of my 5-year plan. We talked about this on Ariel Helwani's podcast back then. We're going to get rid of everybody under over 40. We're going to get rid of all the legends. We're going to keep one. Back then, they had way too many.
At that point, yes.
It was an old-timers game.
Insight tells us that the operative syndicate members are currently in the area. Track them down and do
Perception, yes. Chronologically, no.
They're on high alert.
I think what he's trying to say, rather than discriminating by age, is that it was all the guys that had been around. Either the ex-WWE guys that were there, with some with good intentions, Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, others with questionable work ethic at least.
You've spread fear.
And basically, I think I would have been more, I see where he's coming from. I would be more judicious in saying, and not having a rule of thumb, I will keep several veteran names that I think that can still work hard and are valuable employees and can contribute, rather than just, one and get rid of all the other guys, all
Central
guys. But I see what he wanted to. He's looking at all those guys saying it's too late. They've been seen like this now. He just said he'd never bring any of them back. And that's what I keep trying to stress, is that I think Paul's value as a booker especially was keeping guys fresh, because he could see a way to get something out of them and do as much as possible with a little. And at the same time, you've got big egos, big salaries, and with a lot of veterans. And they've all been seen, and they're not going to work as hard, and they're not going to do the things you want them to do. So, kind of like that, yes.
All right, let's go back to this. Chris Van Vliet with Paul Heyman. And some of them had years left to give, but they got lumped in with the other veterans, so they seemed older than they were.
And the magic of TNA in that 05 to 09-ish time was a lot of those outcomes. Oh my God, yes.
Could have been done with them, but instead they were all playing second fiddle to these big names from the Attitude that were no longer relevant or no longer had the cachet to present innovative, progressive storylines that would capture the imagination of a new audience. They had a niche. They served the niche.
Did he just say what I said, but only much more eloquently?
Yes. Well, he's a very political guy. He's very diplomatic. They were never going to expand from it. Narrowcasting versus broadcasting. I wanted a piece of the company. I wanted the Dana White deal. Yeah. And I wanted the ability in 36 months their CFO was named Dean Broadhead, I believe. And,
yes.
To take the company public. Let's stop it there for a moment, because there's a big one. Taking TNA public 3 years ago.
I wouldn't take Dean Broadhead out in public.
Well,
this fucking guy was a moron too. It was a bunch of morons that Dixie Carter assembled because they had run something in some other business that they were going to. The names that you don't know, like a Dean Broadhead, that worked in the office, it's not like they stole them all from the Titan Sports office roster, or that they'd been major executives or worked in the territories. They were fucking some people from somewhere. So yeah, Paul knew. What the fuck is this?
Like TV at the time wanted their sign off for what I wanted to do creatively, because it wouldn't work without their sign off. Again, having to appease all masters, and also wanted to know if they were willing to buy in. Should we take the company public 3 years after I start my run in the creative process? What it boiled down to was TNA did not want to let go of the legends. Did not want to forsake the appearances by the legends on the television show. Did not want the legends to be fed to the younger guys. So the AJ
Didn't want to
Styles
hurt Sting and Nash's feelings.
and the Samoa Joes and all the young talent that was there was always going to be secondary to the legend. And therefore, you've capped. You're stuck. You've hit the glass ceiling every time. That's it. Can't go any further. And I had already been out of this industry for several years. And if I was going to come back, let alone come back as the booker, head of creative, head of content, however you want to designate that role, I'm going to come back. I wasn't coming back to fail. And to book the Legends Tour, to me, there was nothing else I could offer them. They had that already down pat. Mazel tov. Congratulations. But
hey, can I say something? He's exactly right, but also not wanting to sacrifice the legends. Dixie was enamored of the guys, the bigger the stars they were, and that they could come in and sit with her and talk like a peer to her and tell her, oh yes, whatever they were telling her. And again, I would have been as extreme as Paul in that I still think there were more than just a few that had some value, but also that's the thing. You had to use those guys to make the younger guys, and they didn't, or they didn't enough if they were token efforts made. But as well, Paul didn't want to come in and fail. And I think he told them all of those things because he knew that it was not going to be given to him. He would have taken it if they had, but he knew that it was not. Because this way, excuse me, if they did give it to him, that he would work tirelessly and work his ass off to somehow jerry rig or Ponzi scheme something in 36 months and could go public and he could make the Dana White deal. So he would have been on that like ugly on an 8. But if he didn't get that, he didn't expect that to begin with, and it didn't hurt his feelings because he knew that they were not going to give him a piece and all this other stuff, and that he would just be able to call everything and fuck these other people. So that's what needed to be done. So he had a net either way. He didn't need the job. He didn't expect them to offer it to him under those circumstances. But if he had gotten it, then he would have devoted his entire evil mastery to it. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Let's finish up this question right here. Well, my input, we're going in a completely different direction. And it's going to be a different style. And it's going to separate itself from what WWE is offering, or all you're getting is WWE Light.
Yeah. And then after that, TNA entered some dark years. Like the storylines were not great. I'm a huge TNA fan. For so long, there was no competition in wrestling. Now there is. Is wrestling in a better...
All right, let's stop it there. We'll go to this in a second. He's about BS about AEW, but that's the end of Paul Heyman's thoughts on TNA.
And what year was it they talked to him? Do you recall offhand? He said I've been out of the business a couple of years. Say again?
He said 2010 here.
Okay, that's because that was he left the WWE after the 2006 ECW reunion, correct?
That's right. Yeah, when I was doing Young Pit Fighting, we had our meeting with Paul Heyman the summer of 2007, I think. So he was already doing other things and looking for other things to do.
Yeah, and again, you know, that was 2010 is the point where a lot of things had just gone to complete shit. We've been talking about the period of 2006 to 2009. The term I was there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the program. But okay, now Jeff's out of power, and all of his people are gone, and the Hogan had come in, and a blah, 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 and things were headed south quickly.
Well, again, those were Paul's thoughts on TNA. You'd have to think if he had been involved and given 3 years, it would have been a whole lot better than anything else they ever produced again.
Oh, yeah.
But here's his thoughts on AEW. The competitive brand started up several years ago. Anytime, any rumors about Paul Heyman, oh, would he go to AEW? Would he go and do this? So we've never really heard him talk about AEW. Let's go to this from his interview with Chris Van Vliet.
Better place now because AEW exists.
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, it sure changed the compensation packages for a lot of talent because there was a wolf across the river named Tony Khan that had $1 billion checkbook that he could afford to pay a lot more money for talent than talent was making back in 2017, 2018, 2019. So it certainly changed the compensation for talent, and they're on a viable network. They have a style that's different than WWE's. They present an alternative, if not a competitive brand. I look at AEW and I realize the influence that ECW had on that project, on that product. Not just like, for example, like Moxley is a total ECW Sandman New Jack style performer. But hey, let me stop it there real quick.
Well, and listen, hold on, I just got to say that he's stuttering, trying not to just throw a shovel, right? And every positive point that he made is kind of a positive point, but you can tell he's trying to pick the positive. He doesn't want to just come out and say, but my God, what I could have done with what Paul Heyman and Tony Khan could never work together for the same principle of Bill Watts couldn't work for Vince McMahon because he said there's only room for one Titan in Titan Sports. And Tony telling Paul about the wrestling business would be like a fucking Howie the mailroom guy telling Albert Schweitzer about medicine. And Tony can't let go of his control to let even the ultimate expert, lead the way. So anyway, but I just he's trying to be nice, Paul is.
When he compared Moxley to New Jack and the Sandman, Meltzer took issue with that, and the Observer said it's more like Terry Funk.
You should get back to
God
the
damn it.
Heyman was in the meeting when Moxley pitched all that garbage shit to wrestle Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Remember? We heard about that?
Well, yeah, New Jack and Sandman applies. It's a fucking kind of a freak show thing. New Jack. Sandman got over completely because Paul pushed him, because Sandman's a drunk that really couldn't do anything. He didn't have a physique. He could really cut a great promo. He looked like shit. And he couldn't work. Jack could talk his ass off. But that's you could put Moxley in that category, yes, not Terry Funk, a legitimate all-around talent.
If you look at the AEW style, it's Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn from 1999. What a match. AEW was RVD. And if you were a fan of what RVD and Jerry Lynn were doing in 1999, a lot of what AEW presents today is derived and is influenced by what RVD and Jerry Lynn were doing.
It is copycatted. It is imitated. It is done by guys who train themselves on their trampolines. You can say that, but he doesn't. I'm sorry.
which then became, I think, a basis for what AEW is doing now.
So, am I glad that they're there? Absolutely. Love the fact that there is an alternative for an audience.
Excellent work back there, 47. Let me know when you're ready to continue. I'll be waiting. I'll be in touch when you reach your destination. Welcome to Paris. Syndicate members are currently in the area. Find them and take them down. But this is not going to be easy. Previous actions have put them on high alert, so you need to be tactical. Don't disappoint, 47. Good luck.
Chief. Oh, you gotta hand it to him.
What the?
Okay. I think I heard something moving in. Really?
Need some stuff? I've got it.
Appreciate you.
Have a nice day. Come back whenever.
Jesus Christ! Come in.
Well done, 57. This will surely be a blow to the Syndicate.
Man, thought I heard. Anyone out there? Hey, wait a minute.
Next on the list is a real treat.
Man, I got a strange feeling.
Mister.
Bad is gonna happen. Yeah, let's see. Command, we got a situation.
mind of a situation. I'll check the perimeter. Over.
Return to the safe house. Collect your